Punchboard Media,
where we all
bring something
to the table.
Pull up a chair at
punchboardmedia.com.
I am interviewing Juliana and Ariel, who were the makers of the Escape Room in a Box, the Werewolf Experiment. So if you want to introduce yourselves so everybody knows who's who.
Hi, I'm Juliana Patel.
I'm Ariel Rubin.
Okay. And for those of you that don't know, the Escape Room in a Box, the Werewolf Experiment was launched on Kickstarter February of 2016. It ended with over 2,000 backers, and it raised over $135,000. I was able to actually preview the game myself, so I saw an advanced version of it before this version came to my doorstep, which is still in the plastic. I have not yet opened it. I have not subjected this to anybody just yet.
I was thinking it looked very glossy. We had a whole conversation about if it should be a glossy cover or matte cover, and I was like, man, even the matte looks glossy.
Nope, still in the plastic, has not been opened yet. I've shaken it gingerly a few times because I'm just like, I want to know what the full version looks like.
It's so much prettier than the first version.
So I know you two are really big into general escape rooms. For people that have never experienced an escape room or don't know what an escape room is, could you explain just what they are?
Sure. Juliana, you do a great
I will do that. So escape rooms are normally brick and mortar stores that you go into, storefronts that you go into, and you get generally locked in a room, and you and your friends all work together to solve puzzles. You have to find hidden objects, put together codes, and your goal is to escape within the hour from that locked room.
Very cool. We have only a few in my area, and all of them take at least an hour to get to from where I live. I believe there's one in Cleveland. I haven't tried that one out yet. I tried one with my friends last year. It was fantastic.
Awesome.
The only caveat I had with that one is per Ohio fire code, they can't actually lock you in a room, so the doors are always unlocked.
Oh, see, here in LA, we have the emergency release button. There's always a big red button next to it where they're like, if you push this, the game is over. It totally will end everyone's game, but it will open the door. So if there's an emergency. But I was going to say, how far are you from Cincinnati? Is that really far?
Oh, Cincinnati's the opposite end of the state.
Okay, got it. Because I have a friend who runs Cincinnati Escape Room, and it's fantastic.
Okay.
Should you ever be on that side of the state.
So now that we all know what a regular escape room is, an escape room in a box, what's the difference?
I mean, basically, it's what we tried to do is make it as much like an escape room as possible, but in your house. And I think the biggest difference might be narrative, because we knew that you couldn't, if you're in your living room, I'm not going to be able to convince you that you can't walk out of your living room. We can't be like, haha, you're trapped in your living room. We somehow secretly locked your front door. So the narrative is that when you open the box, a vapor is released that you can't see, and don't worry, it doesn't actually exist, that will turn you into a werewolf in an hour unless you solve all the puzzles. And so that's something that's, narratively believable in your own home.
And we should say, too, a lot of actual physical escape room locations, as, they're exploding all over the world, and they are becoming, far more story-driven, adventure-driven, some of them, the best of them. So there are now all kinds of stories. I mean, we did a Zen room where you were trying to restore color to the world. And we've done, bank heists where you're trying to smuggle as much of the jewels out and cash as you can. So all sorts of different narratives are coming into play in the physical ones as well.
Well, that's really cool. The Zen one sounds interesting because it's usually you're trying to escape a bad situation. Yes. So that's actually kind of cool that you're trying to do a positive thing within the time limit.
Yeah, like steal a lot of money. And I guess the other difference to the newer rooms is that ours is not, a lot of the newer rooms have a lot of tech. And ours is very much a non-tech game. We really embrace you're not going to be using your phone. You guys are, because we also love tabletop games, you're going to be coming into this and not interacting with technology, but interacting with each other and interacting with things that are more mechanical.
Yeah, and I think that's actually one of the reasons that escape rooms in general have become so popular in this day and age, is everyone is looking for something. That's why the tabletop industry is exploding as well. People want to put their phones away and actually be face-to-face with their friends and all go through an experience together.
Yeah, and the only tech you need is a timer, and you can go really low tech and just get one of those crank egg timers or something if you wanted to.
If you had an hour-long hourglass, that would be amazing.
That would be really cool. So I did see on Facebook that you two celebrated your anniversary for working together. So how long have you two actually known each other?
I mean, it's been forever, right?
Yeah. So,
well, I mean, actually, in LA, in life terms, we were talking about this. We're relatively newer friends because, I should preface this with one of my current roommates is a girl I've known from preschool. So,
okay.
In life terms, but we spent so much time together that I think I spend more time with Juliana than my husband.
I definitely spend more time with Ariel than my husband. My husband travels all the time, and I see Ariel all the time.
And our texting is insane. I mean, it's just ridiculous. We're like teenagers.
So as we have figured out that you two are escape room, enthusiasts. So what makes a really good escape room for you?
Well, for me, I prefer puzzles that are really innovative, not necessarily hard. I mean, I want to be challenged, but it's really fun, and I walk away with a real excitement at the end if I see something I haven't seen before. We do a lot of these, so a lot of puzzles are fairly similar. So when we see something new, that makes me happy.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's we have a lot of thoughts on what makes a good or a bad escape room. I think we love it when it has a good flow where there's enough to do for everyone in the room, and when there's different kinds of puzzles, and so it's making you think in all different ways. The newer escape rooms, the set design and the immersion on them is getting incredible, where you really feel like you've stepped onto a movie set.
And a lot of them give you costumes.
Yeah, costumes we are big fans of costumes. But yeah, and the tech is leading to a lot of amazing wow moments where you're like, I did not see that coming. So that's one of our favorite things.
And to Juliana's point, when there's a lot of different types of puzzles, and you have we bring a group that is good at different things. So my husband is very mechanical and is very good with his hands and figuring physical puzzles out. Juliana is very good at reading a lot of stuff. So if there's a journal, I just throw it at Juliana.
I want all the information. Always.
So it's great, not just that it gets your mind thinking in different ways, but if there's puzzles where you can say, okay, you do that and you do that, because it's all of our different strengths. So you're really working as a team. That's fun.
Cool. I was actually just thinking about something, because with the last escape room that we did, we actually got lab coats because it was in a lab and trying to figure out what happened to the scientists because they all went missing. But what do you think of red herrings?
No.
Oh, we hate them so much. There's no, I think it makes some designers feel clever, haha, you spent 20 minutes on that and it didn't give you anything. But we feel so strongly that your game, if your players are working hard and trying to solve things, they should be correct. That it shouldn't be, oh, I messed up by solving this puzzle that gave me nothing, or led me down a rabbit hole. So our game actually says in the tips, there's We used to say there's no red herrings, and then playtesting taught us that people will make things red herrings that no one else would ever think to make it a red herring, but like people are like, this has to be significant. So it now says there are no intentional red herrings in the game.
Yeah, the one that we spent too much time looking at these vials because they had these vials, they had specific like levels and stuff, and they're like, this has to be something. We got to figure out what this goes along with, and it was nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to that, you were right to look at those vials. That is a very common puzzle in science escape rooms. That was something you absolutely should have done as good players. That was on the designers, in my opinion.
And also, yeah, a good tip is look everywhere.
Yes.
Not just where you not even the not obvious things, but even the totally obvious things. It's like, oh, why would they put something there? Because with the lab coats, there was a clue in one of our pockets.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if we had one fewer person, we wouldn't have put on that lab coat. And we're like, oh, there's something in the pocket. Oh, what's this?
Oh, yeah. Another good searching thing is a lot of them will have a second room that you like open a door and go into a second room. Always search the door behind the door in the second room because people never think to look there. You just like open the door and you burst in, you're so excited about everything, and then there's important information behind that door. Yeah,
we had a cooler that we had to figure out how to open, and the cooler had a secret door.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So other than escape rooms, what other types of games do you guys like to play?
So we've been getting more into collaborative games recently. We met over competitive games, which can get very intense in our game nights.
So Ariel and I are incredibly competitive. We were actually introduced because our mutual friend was like, you two are the most competitive people I know. You should know each other. Like I went and I played Catan with him and some of their other friends, and everyone in the group just kept being like, oh my gosh, it's like Ariel's here. Like, why is she being so competitive?
Which is, no one can tell us apart now anyway, so.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's also could have gone terribly. Like, I wonder sometimes if Jason, said we should meet, not because he thought we should be friends, but because he wanted to see, what terrible thing would happen if we played a game together.
Yeah, for his own amusement, just to watch us, explode.
But it worked out well. We've been playing, we just started Pandemic Legacy 2, season 2 together, which we're very excited about.
Yes.
I don't know, have you started it yet or played it?
I haven't played 2. We finished 1, which was absolutely fantastic. And then of course, if you've watched any of my videos, you saw that Will snuck in a proposal into it, which confused me very much. I was like, well, wait a minute, but what's in that little box?
It's wonderful. We actually we have started, that segues nicely, we have started a puzzle design business where we are designing puzzles for events, and people hire us to do weddings and stuff, and we just did a marriage proposal.
Aw.
Yeah,
so
it was entirely personalized escape room we did a massive amount of Facebook stalking and Instagram stalking of the couple. And then every puzzle was specifically designed around them and with elements and moments from their life. And it was really fun.
But the key was that only the guy knew it was a proposal.
Yeah.
So we had to come up with a whole backstory of why the escape room was so personalized for, so that she wouldn't be tipped off until, the very end with the last cabinet when she opened it and there was the ring. And it was really cool.
Ariel did a great job. She was like a super spy, though. She went and met the girl and the guy, but met who we'd already met the girl at an event and was like, oh, yeah, you're into escape rooms, and chatted with her and was actually like, oh, we'd love to have you come and play test our game so we could have them play our tabletop game, and we actually got to watch them like solve it together and see how they work. And then we're like, okay, so now we know how to design. And then it made sense to be like, oh, you're on our playtest list. So we actually sent out a BCC email being like, hey, everyone, we're looking for testers for this new like personalized room. Let us know. And she responded back so fast. And we're like, does she know? She responded so quickly. But
well, and it was a BCC, but of course we only sent it to her.
Right.
Right. That is so cool.
It was fun.
So Will was on the right track. This is the new wave of proposals. Everyone should propose with a game.
Yes, definitely. So let's see here. Okay, now back to the escape room in a box. What were some of the challenges that you had in creating the whole thing?
I mean, manufacturing the box was the biggest challenge. I mean, designing it was a challenge as well, and we did a tremendous amount of playtesting to see like what's too hard, what's too easy, where do people stop having fun, how can we kind of guide them more specifically in ways that we want. But that was all kind of that's all puzzles to solve for us.
That's all the fun part. Although I will say, in that early design process, the difficult part was we were, at the time, both stay-at-home moms without a second job. And so we had to figure out how to, design this game and get it out there and watch our kids, because that's what we were doing.
Yeah, we both have kids. My youngest and her oldest are right around the same age. So we did a lot of like throwing them together. We're like, go play while we, and yeah, at the time they were really too young to like play together. Like now they get along quite well, but at the time we were just like friends, and they're like, whoa. But then the manufacturing of this game was a crazy process. Like most games are boards and cards and dice and minis and, call it a day. And for us, we had 34 unique materials in the box, and so many of them are sourced from all different factories of tins and locks and petri dishes and syringes. And so trying to get that all together and then get it together correctly, like it has to be perfect. If they leave out one puzzle paper, the entire game is off. So getting that to a level of quality that is never expected of board games was really tricky. We had, first off, in looking for manufacturers, are a lot of places. Most of the typical board game manufacturers that people use turned us down. They were like, no, it's just too complicated. This is not what we do. So we ultimately ended up going with a toy manufacturer because they were more used to like sourcing a bunch of different things and putting them together. And they're called the Product Greenhouse. And then they're kind of a broker, and they find different factories to work with. And the first factory that we were working with, they sent us a sample, and we were like, nah, close, but items A, B, C, and D are not perfect and need to be changed and make sure this is correct. So they'd sent us another one. We're like, okay, better, but like still F and B need to be like this way. And then they were like, no, we're not doing this. And our first factory quit on us.
Wow.
So then,
and these weren't like nitpicky notes. These were, the lock wasn't set to the right number, or
right.
Puzzles were in completely the wrong place.
Right.
Things that would ruin the experience.
In a typical game, it's like, oh, the card was at the top of the deck instead of the bottom of the deck. Just switch it. Like, it's not a problem for the end user. But for us, if something is locked, if the thing that's going to tell you the combination for the tin is locked inside the tin, it's not going to work. So yeah, luckily our broker was super on top of things and found another factory, and that factory, it actually went ahead with it. But we've now licensed the game to Patel, and we're so happy to never, ever have to manufacture again.
And that actually goes into my next question. Since Mattel has picked up the game,
yes,
which, congratulations, that is absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
And it's because of people like you, because you got, Wait, I think because you were like one of the first people who said you'd review our game, and the reviews from people like you putting that on our Kickstarter, I think, is why we got so many backers. And Mattel would never have even seen it without, without such good reviews and without such a big response. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're so welcome. My friends still talk about it. We still want to play it again, but it's like, oh, but we can't.
Oh, but you can.
Actually. We recently had to do some play tests for some slight variation. The Mattel game has some slight variations, which we can talk about a little bit. But we did have to do some additional play testing, and because it wasn't that different, and I had like a newborn or was very pregnant. I just used some of the people we already knew who'd played it before, and they did not remember. You can play it again. You'll remember like 2 things, and have someone who hasn't played to discover the like couple things you remember. But unless your memory is just amazing, you'll be fine.
And the other thing too is like you did not solve every single puzzle. There's 19 puzzles in there, so you could be working on the puzzles that your friend solved last time, and it's still going to be a discovery for you to solve them.
Very cool. So. It is out on Amazon now for pre-order.
Yes.
Do you have any indication of how well that's doing or not?
No, we don't have any access to these numbers.
We've sort of timed a lot of the media like for coming out a bit later. So I'm more interested to see what the numbers are going to look like, after like this goes on your site and after some of the other reviews go up. But yeah, I don't think they're going to, I don't know if they tell us those numbers. They've been really great. Like in terms of the design process, they have been involving us like every step of the way, anytime they need to change something or as samples come in. But my guess is that we're not going to get the exact numbers.
I mean, we'll know how many units sold when we get royalties, so we'll get that. But until then, we won't know.
Okay. So now that the Mattel version is out and all the Kickstarter backers have gotten their version, what's next?
Well, we always envisioned Escape Room in a Box as a series of games, and we have so many ideas for so many different themes and so many different kinds of puzzles that would work in this series. So we are working on the next Escape Room in a Box game, tabletop game. And then
it's gonna be so cool.
It's gonna be so cool. The amount of things that we can do will be very cool. So I think that's what we can say about that, but we're really, really excited about where that's going. And then we also have our puzzle design company, The Wild Optimists. And as Ariel said, we've been doing more events and personal custom puzzle design.
That is very cool. So I guess that's really all that I have here for you. So just so everybody knows, as I said, the Escape Room in a Box is available on pre-order for Amazon. I'll have a link down below, so that way you can go ahead and pre-order it. It's going to be released on December 18th. So you should be able to get it just in time for the holidays. I actually looked up if you do like prime shipping or rush shipping, you can get it in time for Hanukkah. Because I saw when that was.
Yeah, Hanukkah's a bit early this year.
It is. So you can get it in time for Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever you celebrate. And if you ladies want to plug social media, any links, feel free now.
Oh, sure. We're on Twitter as Escape Room Inbox, because Escape Room in a Box was too long. So at Escape Room Inbox. We're on Instagram as The Wild Optimists. Is that right,
Yes.
Ariel?
I think so.
I'll have links down below just in case.
Perfect. And then, of course, facebook.com/Escape Room in a Box.
Well, and wildoptimistplural.com is our website.
Yes.
If you have a wedding coming up and you want a really cool puzzle as your activity for your guests.
Very cool. So thank you so much for joining me today. And
Thank you,
I
Brian.
really look forward to your next escape room. And I know my friends are going to be all over it as soon as I tell them that it's coming.
Thank you. We're so excited to get it out into the world.